Hi，大家好。Hey, what's up? This is Sandra. 大家好. So, let's refresh our memory real quick. 大家 literally means big family or big home. Is what you use to address a large group of people, like when you're giving a speech or a presentation or a lecture. So, 大家 kind of means you guys or everyone. So, next up, 你们好吗? Last but not least, 欢迎. All right, welcome to my community Mandarin mini lessons. It'll last for about 10 minutes. So let's hand for about 10 minutes. So 今天是星期一. Today is Monday. So hopefully you're having a good big start of the week. I mean, post-holiday stress is always so real, right? All right, without further ado, let's jump in. So today we're still gonna be doing some learning of Pinyin. Like I said, I think we're 90% of, covering like about 90% of the Pinyin. And once we reach 100%, theoretically, you should be able to pronounce every single Chinese character as long as there is Pinyin attached to it. So, okay, without further ado again. All right, let's do this. I think last time we did the difference between n and n versus and in versus in. And today we're going to do this pair. This pair, when this un, it is one versus yun with the two little dots on top. Yun. Okay, so for this pair, there were two things I'd like to point out. First, UN is actually UEN. So, but in writing, we usually leave out the E part. So, one, read after me if you wish to. 请跟我读. One. And next one is, we know about these. We know about the final U. One, the final U encounters the initial G, Qi, Xi, and E. It turns into U, but it only turns into U in writing. It's still pronounced the same. It is still pronounced as U. So we have the first pair, Wen versus Yun. All right, let's look at some examples. For the one part, we have several words that I think it's pretty commonly used that we can just learn. First one, we have hun. Hun is a verb as well as a noun. It means marry. Of course, when it's a noun, it means a marriage. So next up is lun. It is noun as well as a verb. It means wheel or turn. And last but not least, we have 滚. 滚. It's a third tone, so we're going to do a little bit the head thing. 滚. It is a verb. It means row. It doesn't look very commonly used right now, but you will see once we get into the specific examples. First, let's talk about 婚. This is part of my clickbaity thing. So for 婚, we can learn this phrase. It is 结婚. I'm sorry if the thing in red is like too small. Okay. So 结, it is a verb. It means to combine or to tie a knot. So 婚, as we've learned, it's marriage. So basically 结婚 as a phrase, it is tie the knot. It is to forge a marriage, to get married. Okay, so for that, if we want to say I am married, of course, we say 我结婚了. To refresh your memory, it is the structural particle to indicate the present perfect tense, to indicate something's already happened. So if you want to say I'm already married, we say 我结婚了. 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 Next up, we have another way to say it. It is 我已婚. 已 means already. We would have more explanation on that word because later on. Today we're not gonna get into it. It might require too much time. Okay. So how do we say, if we're not married, the opposite of I'm married? We've learned this one, right? We've learned when we're talking about Singles Day. 单身. 单身 means single. So if you want to say I'm married, you can say 我结婚了 or 我已婚. And if you want to say I'm single, 我单身. All right. Next up, of course, since we've learned how to say I'm married, so what's the opposite of getting married? I don't know if we can call it the opposite because, yeah, it doesn't sound right. Okay, so how does it get a divorce? Still, we're going to use the word 婚, marriage. But we're going to also use the verb 离. 离 means leave. So 离婚 together means you leave a marriage. You left a marriage behind, so you get a divorce. Okay, so over here we have a little, how do I make it bigger? It looks pretty small on my screen. Hopefully it's bigger. So we have a little conversation here to help us learn how to say that. First, 你单身吗? The answer is 对，我离婚了. So what those mean? Let's see. So we know 我单身 means I am single. So 你单身吗? Turns it into a question mark. So are you single? And the answer is 对. 对 is a very, very commonly used, I would say you use it every day to answer a question if you think, okay, correct, okay, yes. You say 对. 对 is more, I would say, more native Chinese than 是. So probably remember that. Yeah, 对，我离婚了. Yes, correct. I am divorced. Okay, so here is a little bit grammar point I'd like to point out. So for 我结婚了, we have to use the structural particle 了 to indicate it's something already happened. And the same goes for 我离婚了. If you say 我离婚, it does not sound like a complete sentence. But for 我单身, I am single. You don't have to use the structural particle 了 to indicate that something already happened. So this is how I see it. 我单身, I am single. Single is your status by default. Like ever since you were born, you're single until you're not. So for that something, it's constantly happening. You don't have to use the structural particle of 了 to indicate that something already happened. So we have 我单身, I'm single. 我结婚了, I am married. Or 我离婚了, I am divorced. So there you go. And next up, let's learn very fast. Let's learn 轮. 轮. First, if you want to say wheels, as a noun, you say 轮子. 轮子. Alright. Next up, if you want to use 轮 in a verb, we have this verb view, 轮到. 轮到 is a verb, kind of like a phrase word verb. It means it's somebody's turn. So we can see over here we have two sentences. First one, 轮到我了. 轮到我了. I don't know if anybody still remembers, but 到 means arrive. So 轮到我了 means it's my turn. It's my turn. And next one we have 轮到你买单了. 买单. Here's the new words here. I don't know. It's super small from my screen. 买单 means pay the bill. Pay for something. So 轮到你买单了. The whole sentence means it's your turn to pay. Like, let's imagine a group of people going out to lunch. And then if you say 轮到你买单了, it's your turn to pay. And since we're on the subject of 买单, just if you want to pay for something, pay for the bill. It is 买单. Like if you go out to lunch with your friends, and by the end of it, assuming you're in China or other Chinese-speaking countries and stuff, you can just raise your hand like 买单. Say 买单 means I wish to pay the bill. 买单, bring the bill. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next up, we have 滚. 滚 is a verb. It means roll. So first, let's see the sentence. 他在地上滚. 他 over here is the girl one. If you see the girl part is she 在 at 地上. 在地上 we can actually put it together. Means at on the ground. So 滚, so she's rolling on the ground. So I don't know, maybe we're talking about my daughter. Like that's what is a thing that all teenager, not teenager, toddlers do, right? Okay. And next up, we see those two that, and then you will know why I think 滚 is actually pretty commonly used. First one, 你滚. Next up, 滚蛋. 你滚, what is 你滚? We have 你 is you, right? So is it you row? Well, let's see if it is you row. There we go. 你滚 is usually when Chinese people are mad at other people, they will be like 你滚. Like I would this is I use it in a very mild form of translation to show you the meaning of that, but you know what I mean, right? It's you go away, but it's more intense than that. So 滚蛋. 蛋 is egg. It's kind of, if you want to see it literally, it's like you roll an egg, but it also means go away or F off. I'm sorry. I can't do this. Okay, so 你滚, you go away. 滚蛋, go away, but not in the mild form I just put it into. So okay, so there you go. That's it's two very commonly used expressions when you're having a quarrel with somebody. So all right. So all right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Sorry, I've been super goofy today. So thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you've learned something from today. Hopefully I make it lighthearted and fun for you. And before we say goodbye, before we say 再见, of course, when you have a chance, visit our website and then go over to the YouTube channel that we have, and then maybe watch some of those videos and hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it. So 再见.